everybody, Crafting Journey here, that journey chick over on Instagram and on my other channel, The Leftovers. Welcome to another edition of Crafting and Crime Daily. I'm running late for work today, so the like button has agreed to be my chauffeur. I don't know how that's going to work out, but make sure you hit that like button on your way in or out. He just feels the love when you do. Also, consider subscribing if you're new to the channel. All I can say is sometimes I'm all over the place. This is a vlog. It's also a place where I describe live trials, which there are none going on right now. So this may be a quick show today. I am working on a story for you. I'll tell you about that in a little while. So, did I say subscribe? It's absolutely free. Yeah. And don't forget the notification bell. You must hit all or you won't get notified. And then you may not get notified, depending on YouTube's mood that day. I need to scoot. Today is National... What is it? Today is National Book Lovers Day. I love a good book. I need to tell you... Here, let's see. Where's my book? Okay. The one, if you go over to the Leftovers channel, you see that I bought this old Nancy Drew book. This was published in 1960. Let's see. And book lovers not only collect books, but they love to read. That's you, Mickey and Robin. Okay, where did it go? 1968. It was first copyrighted in 1952, but this one was published in 1968. This is Nancy Drew, Mystery at the Ski Jump, and I bought it for $1. And it just has so much meaning to me because I grew up reading Nancy Drew. I remember going to the library. I knew exactly where the Nancy Drew books were. They were all the way in the back. The children's section was in the back. I don't know why. All the way in the back, on the back shelf, bottom row. I remember going to the public library, bottom row, back shelf, looking for one that I hadn't read. I wonder if I would remember this if I read it. Oh my gosh. Yeah. The other thing I want to tell you about on National Book Lovers Day is my sister. She used to be a librarian, so she's a book lover. She just appreciates a good book. Not only reading, but collecting. She loves books. So, and I don't know if I've told you, but she tutors a woman who, I think she's in her 40s, but she has the mentality of maybe you're 7 or an 8-year-old. So she teaches her to read, and she's been doing this for years because the woman forgets, and then she has to reteach her. But right now they're reading Charlotte's Web. That my sister used to go to her home and they would read together. Now my sister will send her a book, and they will get on Facebook Messenger or whatever, however they do it, couple afternoons a week, and they'll read. They'll take turns reading. And yeah, I think it's so sweet of her to do that, first of all, but that's what book lovers do. They teach other people to read, they read to other people, and they collect books and they read to themselves. We have a book club in my Facebook group, Crafting Journey Facebook group, and we're currently reading The Vampire Knitting Club. Now, I'm having a little trouble getting through it because I'm doing it on Audible. That's the other thing I mentioned about books. These books, when these were actually printed on a printing press. Now they are done digitally, and they are not. They're laser printed, and they're not printed until you order the book. They're not. They used to print out X amount of copies, and that's why you find a bunch laying around that nobody ever bought. But now they do not print them until you order them, or a book, maybe a bookstore places an order, but they're not printed until that order is placed, which I think is incredibly smart. Also, a lot of people have gone to ebooks and Audible. It's just, because books, they do clutter up your house. I know, clutter. I know. But they do. You've read it, and then you go to a yard sale and there they all are. Like, let's get rid of the books. So you can find some incredible books at a yard sale. I think one of the ones I went to over the weekend, they had like the Twilight series, which I love. And I thought, oh, do I want to buy that in hard copy? I can watch the movie anytime. Love the movies. But anyway, no, I didn't buy it because I'm not in the business of buying for myself. So last night I was working on this diamond painting. I swear I was. And I did the eggs and I did the chicken. You can't see the chicken. It might be a rooster. I don't know. Chicken and the rooster. I feel like this is going to take me forever at the rate I'm going. My sister is just flying through her diamond painting. But here's why. Because I love to watercolor. So yesterday, I ordered this set of paints. Oh gosh, maybe a month ago. And not realizing they were coming from China. So they came from China. This is called a CSY Art Gallery mini tin box handmade watercolor. It's just a little tin box and it's super cute. I had to open the paints, and then they give you these magnetic strips that will hold the paints to the tin. If I can get it open. And they were just shades of shimmery blue. Super cute. So I said, well, I've got to try them out. So I got my white paper out, and here is how they turned out on the white paper. I just did 3. And after 3, I thought, let me get the black paper out and see how that goes. So I did a composition on the black paper. How cool is that? Now, the colors are a little bit hard to distinguish, but because they're very subtle. You can see the green in here. This was lavender. The blue doesn't. This is blue. Doesn't really show up. What shows up is all the glitter, not necessarily the pigment, but the glitter. I just think it has a very beautiful effect. Yeah. So that is it could go any way you want. That's the way I did it, though. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh my gosh. I love it. Anyway, so I found a use for the black. Now, what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to go in with the regular watercolors and add to the composition. I think it'll be beautiful with these in the background. So that is my watercolor. That's my diamond painting. We've talked about the book club, but let's talk about crafting and crime. Okay, there are no trials going on. There was a sentencing of some sort yesterday in a case that I'm not familiar with. But in federal court, the 3 defendants in the Ahmaud Arbery case, Travis and Greg McMichael and William Roddy Bryant. Now, I'll just refresh your memory a little bit. This happened down in Georgia. This young black man, Ahmaud Arbery, had a habit of jogging through this white neighborhood. And he would stop at this house that was being built. And he would just go in it and look around. We don't know why. He never took anything. Travis and his father, Greg, just had these conspiracy theories about what he was doing in that house, and he was burglarizing it, and he was probably burglarizing the rest of the neighborhood. So one day, the dad, Greg, sees him run by, and he runs in the house, and he tells his son, Travis, grab your guns. I just saw him run by. So they go in the bedroom, grab their guns, jump in the truck. Travis is driving. Greg, the father, jumps in this passenger seat where there's a car seat. He just sits on top of the car seat. And they go after Ahmaud Arbery. Now, Roddy Bryant, he's in front of his house and he sees all the commotion, and he sees that his neighbors, Travis and Greg, are chasing this black boy. So he decides he's going to help out. So he gets in his truck and they're all chasing Ahmaud Arbery. As there's a lot more to the story, but it ends up where they all come to a stop. They've got him cornered. Greg is standing in the back of a truck. He's calling 911. Travis has this rifle and he's struggling with Ahmaud Arbery, and he shoots him. And he passes away in the middle of the street. So they were tried in state court and found guilty. Both Travis and Greg McMichael got life sentences, and Brian, the other neighbor, sentenced to 35 years in jail, which means he'll be eligible for parole. So they were also charged federally with hate crimes. And they were all found guilty. Yesterday was the sentencing. Now, during the sentencing, the three defendants asked, can we serve our time in federal prison? Because they described that they have received over 500 death threats. Many coming from inside the prison, people that have burner phones inside the prison. They have illegal burner phones inside the prison now, that are making these death threats. And they fear, he said, we fear for our lives there, but the judge says, no, you will serve your time in the state prison. But he sentenced them again, life sentences. Travis and Greg got life sentences, and Brian got another 35 years. So I don't think those guys are going to get out of jail anytime soon. Yeah. It's a sad situation. It is. You know, why would you assume the worst about someone like that? I mean, because he's black, that's sad. In this day and age, that's just sad. But they're paying for it. The person I feel sorry for is the families. Those are the people that I feel sorry for. The families of the McMichaels, you know. Now they have no fathers, sons, husbands, because of these ridiculous racist notions. I mean, it's 2022. Get over yourself. Okay. Not that they're going to listen to me. Oh my word. Okay. I don't understand racism. I just don't. Anyway. Okay. Ooh, let's dive in, paint. What do we got going on here? Okay. Oh dear, what could the matter be? I'm going to be late for work, but you know what? It is what it is. I think I may have been done with this drill. I think so. So I really needed to put this away. Huh. Okay. Maybe we're not diamond painting today. Okay. So I have part 1 of the Murdaugh family murders for you. Now, as you recall, Alec Murdaugh recently was charged with the murder of his wife and son, but these murders go way back. There's so many murders or deaths tied or that have this Murdaugh family name stamped on them that I thought I would go through them one at a time. The Murdaughs are found from this small county, Hanson County, in South Carolina. Now, this is about an hour and a half south of Hilton Head. It's a very small county. There are about 20,000 residents. The average income is about $39,000. It's so small that Walmart they considered setting up shop in this town and didn't do it. But one of the big businesses in this town is the Murdaugh family law firm. Now, it's called something else, and I don't know if it's functioning any longer, but the Murdaughs go way, way back in the legal field. They've historically all been attorneys, as was Alec Murdaugh. They've all been very politically connected. And people in this county, Hanson County, are scared of this family. This family has a lot of power. Like, if you get in trouble, they will represent you, but it will cost you. Maybe not monetarily, but it may cost you. There is the death of Stephen Smith, who was found in the middle of the road back in 2015. Then in 2018, there's a boating accident involving Paul Murdaugh, where a young woman is thrown from the boat and killed. Then there is the death of Alec Murdaugh's wife and his son Paul a year later. Then there's all kinds of monkey business going on with Alec Murdaugh himself, to the point where he's now in jail. So we're going to start with the death of Stephen Smith. Now, Stephen Smith, a young man, he was openly gay. Well, maybe not openly, because, we're talking, this is 2015, which anywhere else he could be open, but maybe not in Hanson County. So, but people they knew he was gay, and he aspired to be a doctor. He wanted to be a doctor, but he didn't want to have his mom pay for it. So he said, "Mom, I'm going to go study to be a nurse, and then I'll work as a nurse while I go to medical school. And I will put myself through medical school." So he was attending nursing school in a different county. So on his way back one night, it was a Thursday night, he's traveling back, he runs out of gas. And this is what we can surmise by the evidence. His car was found, the lid was off the gas tank, open, and there was no gas in the car. So they surmised that he just started walking. This was a 2-lane road. There was no lighting. He would have been in complete darkness unless he had a flashlight with him. Completely dark. The only thing that would have lit up this road would be headlights. So if you saw, and it was a straight road. It wasn't one of these windy, curvy roads, and it was flat. So if a car was coming, it would be very visible to anyone, and you would get out of the way. So when his body was found, he had a 7-inch wound in his forehead, and that seemed to be his only injury. So this was very loosely investigated, this whole thing. They picked up the body, they searched the area for any signs that this could be a traffic accident, that it would be that it might be a hit and run. There were no car parts found, there was no skid marks, there was nothing to support that he had been hit by a car. They could not find anything. So then they thought, well, is it a gunshot? They looked everywhere. No evidence of gunshot residue, no tire marks, no bullets, nothing. So they take the body for an autopsy. Meanwhile, the coroner rules that this is a shooting. So that now they're all searching this whole area thinking it's a shooting. That's why they did not find any evidence of a shooting. No bullets, no anything. What they did not search for is that he might have been hit by a blunt force object, like maybe a bat or something. Maybe someone beat him up. That never crossed their mind, apparently. So the coroner says it's a shooting. The person, the forensic examiner that does the autopsy could not find a bullet. So she says this has got to be a hit and run. He had a dislocated shoulder, a gash in his forehead. And they said, well, what makes you think it was a hit and run? Well, what else could it be? There was no bullet. Well, what evidence do you have that it was a hit and run? And she says, that's not my job. That's your job. You go find the evidence. And usually when something's being investigated as a hit and run, they call in the troopers. And FHP, I'm from Florida. The Highway Patrol, that's their job. They investigate car accidents. They've got the skills, they've got the tools. They're invited to the autopsy. Well, they were actually told, no, we don't think this is a hit and run. You don't need to be there. And then it gets ruled a hit and run. And none of the officials that you talk to, no one believes that this was a hit and run. No one believes. So now, this, like I said, this is a small town. Rumors fly fast and furious. So the rumors start flying that, Stephen Smith's body was found, and that there was these group of boys in a truck, and that they hit him with a side mirror. There were different versions of this same rumor, but one of the boys in the truck was Buster Murdaugh. Now, Alec Murdaugh has two sons, Paul Murdaugh and Buster Murdaugh. And it was also rumored that Buster may have been having a relationship with Stephen Smith. There's also, and this, to say, like I said, to say this was an investigation is very, very loose, because they never looked at his cell phone. They never looked at his laptop, Stephen's laptop. They didn't talk to anyone in the neighborhood. They didn't canvass the neighborhood around this road. And there were houses directly adjacent to where his body was found. No one was talked to about, did you hear anything? No, that did not happen. One interesting thing is that when Stephen Smith's body was found, his shoes were loosely tied. Now, if you're hit by a car, are your shoes, loosely tied shoes, going to stay on your body? I don't think so. Now, there were 3 different death certificates issued for Stephen Smith. One said that he died from a gunshot wound. One said he died from a hit-and-run accident. And another one said that he was beaten up. Who knows what the truth is? Now, there was one witness that came forward that said that they had had a conversation with Stephen Smith, who said he was being harassed by some kids at one of the local convenience stores. Another interesting thing that was done as part of this investigation was a rape kit, but no one ever saw the results of the rape kit. No one knows what the results are. It's not in the files. Also, gunshot residue. No one knows what the results of that were. Thoughts on Stephen Smith. People in this town know what happened to Stephen Smith, but they are afraid to talk, especially since the Murdaugh name has been thrown out there. Nobody wants to say what really happened. Somebody knows, maybe more than somebody knows. Somebody knows, maybe 2 or 3 people know, but they're scared of the Murdaugh family. Now, Alec is behind bars now. This case was closed as a cold case, and then when the murder of Alec's wife and son occurred, during that investigation, information came to light, and we don't know what that information is, to cause the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division to reopen the case of Stephen Smith based on what they found during their investigation of the Murdaugh murders. So it will be interesting to see how that plays in later on. So next time on the Murdaugh family murders, I'm going to cover the murder of Mallory Beach, also connected to the Murdaugh family. So what happened this day in history? Okay. Well, we know Gerald Ford took office after Nixon resigned. So that was in 1974. But in 2010, on this day in history, this flight attendant on JetBlue, as soon as the plane lands, one of the passengers was trying to get their luggage. Now, we all know when you go on a plane, you can't go for your luggage until you're up to the gate and the plane is stopped and the pilot says, you're free to move about the plane, or the steward says you're free to move about the plane. Well, this steward got into an argument with one of the passengers who was trying to go for their luggage, and they exchanged words. His name was Stephen Slater. He got so fed up that he said, he gets on the intercom, does some expletives, and said, I've been doing this for 20 years. I'm fed up. He opens the emergency chute, the slide. He grabs a couple of beers and he starts down the slide. And then he crawls back up because he forgot his luggage. So he crawls back up, grabs his luggage, and then goes down the slide. So he had his 15 minutes of fame after that. He was on some talk shows, and, he just said, he couldn't take the passenger harassment anymore. He pled guilty to reckless endangerment, criminal mischief, and criminal trespassing. I don't know what that's all about. He was spared any jail time because he had already posted a bond. So he only stayed in jail overnight. So he was spared any jail time, but in exchange, he had to receive mental health and substance abuse counseling. for a year. Additionally, he was required to pay JetBlue $10,000 to replace the slide. So guys, that's the show for today. I hope you enjoyed the content. Please don't forget to hit the like button. Yes, thank you. He's going to chauffeur me to work. Don't go too fast. All right, I love you all. See you tomorrow in Crafting and Crime.